right, ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing tonight? Is going to be Dirty for Oscar predictions. That means that I'm here with the amazing Joe Rossi. We're going to be talking about all kinds of movies, and we're going to be talking about. I want to know what his predictions of tomorrow night's Oscars are going to be. If you're watching this on Facebook, please head on to YouTube and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe because this page got crazy things happening every single week. Joe, how you doing, man?
I am doing well. I'm glad to see you're feeling better there, Clay.
Thank you. Thank you. Means a lot. Thank you. Means a lot. Just before we continue, I want to say hello to Amelie. It's her birthday. Jess Sorrell, she's all the way from Australia. And a couple people on Facebook, as I mentioned, head on to YouTube so we could see your amazing names here. So, all right. So, let's get into this, Joy. So, you take the floor. What movies have impressed you and have not impressed you so far?
In terms of the Oscars or in general of the year so far?
Yeah. So first, let's go with in general, and then we'll head on to the Oscars.
Oh, I mean, 2020, everyone thinks is a wash, but I think 2020 was a very, very good year for little movies. It wasn't a blockbuster year because the blockbusters were all pushed until 2022. And now we're seeing slowly with Kong versus Godzilla and Mortal Kombat, these bigger movies starting to creep up. But in terms of 2020, I think the best thing I've seen was a anthology of films by Steve McQueen, the guy who did 12 Years as a Slave and The Widows. He made the Small Axe trilogy, Small Axe film series. They're 5 short films. Well, not 5 short films, actually. Some of them are short and some of them are feature length, but his first one, Mangrove, I thought was the best film of 2020. I thought it was the best thing I've seen in 2020. It was absolutely, it was what the Trial of Chicago 7 should have been. It was basically it's like same kind of concept. It was a trial case in London. I thought it was an excellent film. So if you have a chance to watch the Small Axe films, I think they're on Amazon. I think they picked it up, and it is really, really worth it.
Nice.
And even like Disney, Pixar's Soul, which I thought that out of the studio films, I think that was one of the best ones too. It was a very original concept that Pixar and a very adult animated film.
Yeah,
from what I found. But those are 2 of my favorite films of last year. That really impressed me.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Okay, is there any film that did not impress you? Like you watched this and you're like, why am I watching this?
Oh, I wasn't crazy about Tenet. Everyone was waiting for Tenet, and I'm like, I saw it, and I'm like, oof, that was again spectacularally made. I think he's an excellent set piece director. He's an excellent director. It's just that I think I just didn't get it. I just
really
maybe it got lost on me. I just didn't understand it. I was confused half the time. I thought the soundtrack was muddled. It was loud. I couldn't understand people. The only character in the film that I actually thought was giving a good performance was Kenneth Branagh. I thought everyone else was kind of wooden, from Robert Pattinson to John David Washington, but I thought Kenneth Branagh did the best he could. Was the best out of the film. He did the best he could have done with what he was given. Again, well made. Effects, sets, production design, the editing, it's top tier. But it just didn't come together for me.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it was the worst film of the year.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I was disappointed.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm on the same par with you about Malcolm and Marie.
Okay.
So, I mean, because I started following John David Washington from the movie Tenet. I'm like, you know what? Like, as you mentioned, you're not the only one who mentions that John David Washington is a wooden actor. But I'm like, you know what? Like, I like his style in Tenet, and then I've seen him in a few other things. I'm like, all right, let me give it a chance in Malcolm and Marie. And then I saw this, and I'm like, man, this is like some pretentious film school.
But Malcolm and Marie was filmed at the height of the pandemic in Los Angeles over a couple of days. I think it was done almost like an experimental film. So I didn't care for it, but I didn't mind it. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying John David Washington is wooden. I'm like, in Tenet, I just found he was just miscast. I loved him in Black Klansman. I loved him
Yeah.
in Ballers. I think he's a very good actor, and just like maybe that was the wrong role for him. That's my opinion. People liked him in the film, good for them. I just didn't care for him in Tenet. I didn't care for Tenet as a whole.
Yeah, no, same there. No, I I hear your thoughts. I mean, for me, like I like Tenet because I'm a Christopher Nolan fan, and I enjoyed it because again, like the film came out last year, during the pandemic, and
I'll give you it. I'll give you. It's an original concept. I'm not taking points away for originality. He has it. I just don't think it came together.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I mean, I bought the movie, so I'm like,
I figured you buy the movie.
So I'm like, you know what? Let me watch this, and I'm probably gonna hate it, but I mean, I bought it at Walmart for $30, and I'm like, I think this is gonna be the worst $30 I've ever.
Well, if you want it as part of your Christopher Nolan collection, I think you have to have it.
Yeah,
if you're collecting his films, even bad or the good, you have to buy them.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So, even people in the chat, what are the films you liked or did not like from like last year until now? By the way, I think at some point we're going to talk about. We could talk about it now before again. Yaska's Justice League.
Oh, okay. You want to do that first?
I want to do that first.
I really enjoyed it.
Me too.
I really enjoyed it. I'm like, what I didn't expect was most of what we saw in the 2017 was in this film.
Yeah.
They just expanded the scenes, gave a bit more life to them. And I'm like, what boggles my mind is when any executive from Warner Brothers saw Zack Snyder's original cut and they said, oh no, we can't release this. I'm like, what were you guys thinking?
Yeah.
By not liking that. I understand you would never have got it. You would never have got it at 4 hours. Forget that. That'll never happen. Yeah. You probably have to cut down to 3. But still, it was. I'm not saying it was mind-blowingly great. I'm like, I really enjoyed the film. It was an enjoyable, and at 4 hours to me, it flew by.
Yeah,
me too. I watched it in one sitting. They didn't chop it up. I'm glad I saw it in one sitting. I thought it was really well done. Really well acted, and I thought what they did with the Flash, who I couldn't stand in the 2017, all of a sudden it's like a brand new character.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, now I would want to see a movie with him. Aside from this intro scene where the girl's flying over his head in the car, I'm like, I didn't care for that. I thought that was a bit. You don't really need it. You didn't need it. It was a good 5-minute chunk that you could cut out, but again. They gave him $70 million to make a 4-hour version and basically said, put everything in you want to do. You have carte blanche. Okay, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
And I didn't care for the epilogue ending with Jared Leto's Joker and the nightmare scenario because I wouldn't mind it if we were getting a continuation. But I'm like, since we're not getting that continuation, I'm like, I don't think you needed it.
Do you think we're not getting a continuation?
Listen, I don't think it's going to happen. I think how they treated Zack Snyder, I think that's going to. Well, look, his next film went to Netflix. It was a Netflix film.
Yeah,
and they gave him carte blanche, and I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah,
a zombie film set in Las Vegas. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm there.
And then and you have Dave Bautista on top.
Yeah, why not? Why not? I'm like, yeah, listen, if you want to give him money and give him a blank check to do what he wants, go nuts. Go have fun with it.
Exactly. No, for me, Justice League, I found like this version. I'm like, this should have been, this should have been the cinematic film that we should have seen, not that 2017. Yeah. And it really shows because when I was younger, I used to like Joss Whedon. But then I'm like, but now, like, the more I was, understanding.
Well, what's going on now with Joss Whedon?
Jesus Christ! I think you know what? I think they're doing it because, people want money. So they're like, hey, let me. I'm a broke actor or actress. I haven't been working in years. Who can I fuck? Joss Whedon. Now, I'm not gonna point fingers because, obviously I don't know the guy, but I'm like, he looks like a prick. But
I always found it funny that he was the guy coming in. when when we saw the film, when I saw the Justice League 2017 and Zack Snyder's name was on there, so for 3 years I was thinking, what is Snyder's and what is Whedon's? And then when I saw the 4-hour version, I'm like, well, most of it is Snyder's. I'm like, Josh Whedon just added a couple lines he inserted in, like the Pet Cemetery stuff the Flash said that annoyed me to no end. All the cute stuff the Flash did in the 2017 version was Whedon. You know, that opening with Batman on the roof with the criminal. That's Whedon.
I'm like, honestly, the moment you're gonna think this is weird, but the moment it opened to that, I'm like, watch, Batman's gonna be on a rooftop, he's gonna take down a criminal, and what happens? This, and I'm like, oh,
God, he tried. But it's I don't think it's fair to blame Whedon. It's not his fault. They hired him to do what he does. I'm like, he's gonna say no. It's Warner Brothers putting the check. I'm like, so because they wanted their Avengers. The problem is they didn't earn their Avengers.
Yeah, they went too quick.
They went too quick. If they waited and they did their separate films, look, Wonder Woman was a hit. Mm-hmm. Suicide Squad was complete garbage, but it made a fortune, and it won an Oscar. By all means, I still can't wrap my head around that one. Then Aquaman, which I really didn't care for Aquaman, but it made $1 billion. So right there and then you were leading up to your Avengers film. You didn't have to do it so fast. And then you could have probably kept Snyder and he could have done his thing.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, no, for sure. But the one thing I will say about the Whedon version, about the Flash is Danny Elfman did an amazing score with the Flash. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll keep it at that. But then you listen to the score of the Snyder's version,
which the score is fantastic.
Yeah,
the score was absolutely fantastic. I was very impressed with the score.
Yeah, same. I was especially with Wonder Woman's theme.
Yeah,
like I was.
Yeah, for sure. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was. I was very, like I said, surprised. I was very surprised, especially since about a month before, I think I saw Wonder Woman 84, and I'm like, oh my god, it was. You want disappointment? That was a disappointment. That was a big disappointment.
Yeah,
I'm like, I went from again. I'm not the biggest Wonder Woman original fan. I like the movie a lot. I don't think it's fantastic. I don't think it's original bone in its body, but I thought she was great. I thought the setting of World War One was great because we don't usually see World War One in movies. I had a problem with the third act with the villain in part one, but I let it slide because I enjoyed parts of the more parts of the film. But then the second one comes out, and from the get-go, it had a cartoony vibe to it that I'm like, you went from gritty to cartoon, and I didn't buy the Steve Trevor how he came back into the body of the other guy, which I found was weird. Then you had Cheetah just basically doing the exact thing that they did with Jim Carrey in Batman Forever and Jamie Foxx in the Amazing Spider-Man 2. The same character, the nerdy bookish type that wants more power, wants to be popular, and all of a sudden becomes a villain. I'm like, and then at the end they do nothing with the villain.
Yeah, no, it was useless.
And I'm like, and I sat there, I was watching with my sons, and we're like, oh my god, this is not good.
Did you watch?
Even the little one, I'm like, my youngest, I'm like, this is boring. I'm like, yeah.
Did you watch it in theaters or did you watch on video on demand?
No, we had video on demand. That wasn't at the time. I'm not even sure if it was open for theaters. I don't think we had it. I think now with Kong it's open. I didn't think it was open for Wonder Woman.
Yeah, no, it was open before the movie came out before lockdown.
Yeah, but Cineplex was streaming, and I had a Cineplex gift card, so why not? So last year, my birthday, they gave me a bunch of Cineplex cards. I had like almost $100 worth of movie passes, but my birthday's end of February, so the pandemic started in March, so I haven't used them. So basically, when I found out that all these big movies were coming to streaming, I'm like, I'll stream them with my gift cards.
Good.
So we did that. That's how I watched that one, The Little Things, Kong versus Godzilla. So I'm like,
yeah.
So which I actually like. That one I actually liked, by the way.
Which one?
Kong versus Godzilla. It was junk, but it was fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. It was.
I wasn't expecting high art. I was expecting crap. I got what I got. Entertaining crap, and that's fine. I'll deal with it.
Yeah, I know. Before we go to the main event, I was just gonna say, because I saw it in theaters. Because I'm like, you know what? Let me go back to it. But I'm like, I hated the human parts of the film.
Oh, it was useless. They were useless.
I'm like, yeah, just cut them out and then just let Kong.
You could
Let,
make a 90-minute movie out of that 2-hour film, basically, if you just
yeah,
cut out the human stuff and just have them fight. And I'm like, I would pay. You know what? I just want to see a spectacle. That's all I want.
exactly,
I know it's been a year and a half. I've been seeing a spectacle. Give me a spectacle.
exactly. You know, it was really fun.
Yeah.
All right, so now, Joy, we're gonna go into the main thing, the Oscars.
Oh yes.
All right, so the floor is yours, Senator. Let's run right through it.
Do you want to go through? You want to go through category? Or you want to just go through a general
So,
talk about it first?
all right, so let's do the general talk about it, then we'll go through the categories.
This has been one of the most perplexing years I've ever done the Oscars. I usually, myself and a group of friends, we usually do a pool or we get together, we have our lists, we have dinner, and then we look at the Oscars and we try to compete who gets the most categories right. And every year we say this year's harder than last. This year is extremely up in the air because anybody can win. There's only like 2 or 3 categories which I can actually predict that the winner. 100% prediction is about 3 categories I say that's going to walk away with it. Everything else, it's up in the air, including the main big one, Best Picture. It can go. It's between 2 movies right now, possibly 3. So,
And yeah, and I was just gonna mention that for the people who usually don't watch the Oscars, what are the 3 movies that are gonna be the possibility that they might win?
the Best Picture.
Yeah.
I think it's a 3-way race between Nomadland, The Trial of Chicago 7, and Promising Young Woman. I think it's one of those 3. Listen, I honestly believe Nomadland is going to win it, but the support for the other 2 is very, very strong.
Yeah, no,
that's so. I'm like confident Nomadland will win, but the other 2 have support, and I'm like, I could see it going to Trial of Chicago 7 because the Academy is on average 55 years old. If you average everybody 55 to 60 years old. Nomadland is a small, quiet indie. Yeah. While Trial of Chicago 7 is 20 years ago, the Trial of Chicago 7 would have walked away with Best Picture. Hands down. Yeah. It's one of those Oscar bait films with big speeches and multiple stars. I think 20 years ago it would have won. Yeah. So I think it's between the new school and the old school. That's why I believe that those are the 2 that are competing. And then you have Promising Young Woman, which I think is the best film out of the bunch, with massive support. I think that's going to be third in line to win it if the other 2 don't pan out. But I think Nomadland's going to take it, with the other 2 just waiting in the wings. Also, because Best Picture, the voting process for Best Picture is different than the voting process for every other category. It's not a pick the best one. Best Picture, it's a ranking system, a preferential system. So usually it's not you're given a ballot, list your films in order of preference, and that's how it's voted. Usually the number 1 choice never wins. It's number 2 or number 3. Okay. That's why people are going to vote with their hearts for number 1, but it's that second or third choice that's probably going to win the Best Picture.
Ah, okay, I see.
That's how Best Picture is determined. The other ones, it's just a regular pick the best, except for Best Picture, because they did that so that they wouldn't get sweeps. They don't want a film sweeping, like example, Lord of the Rings. Yeah, getting 11 Oscars. They find that they don't want that no more. They want everyone to get a fair shake. So I think that's the reason why they did it, and they started that I think in 2009 when the Hurt Locker won. Because remember, it was Hurt Locker versus Avatar.
Yeah, I remember.
And so they didn't want a big sweep. So they actually that year they spread the wealth to a bunch of films. So that's why they started with that system for the Best Picture.
Okay. All right. So let's go through the categories. So
you start. You pick them out. You start with a category. You pick.
All right. So I want to know your take. All right. So let's go with actually, you know what? Let's go with category for Best Actor.
Best Actor. Mm-hmm. You're starting with the big ones. All right. A 2-way race. I think it's Chadwick Boseman's To Lose But ever since BAFTA gave it to Anthony Hopkins, I'm like, that could be a potential spoiler. But I would go with Chadwick Boseman because I'm not gonna say because he passed away. I think it's an excellent performance. I think if he had lived, Anthony Hopkins would be taking home the Oscar.
Yeah,
Because he passed away, I think they're gonna give it to him.
Yeah.
I think it's about 6 or 7 people that have been nominated after they passed away, and only 2 have won. One being Heath Ledger, and the other one for The Dark Knight, and the other one being Peter Finch for Network. And everyone else has lost except for those 2 performers. So I'm like,
Exactly.
the track record of someone winning after they died is not great. But I don't think they're going to deny the fact that this guy was so well loved. He was only here for a short amount of time, and he pulled off a great performance. I mean, I love Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I think it was an excellent movie.
Yeah,
that should have been a Best Picture nominee, and it's not.
Yeah, I know.
So I think they're gonna give it to Chadwick Boseman. But if I see a spoiler coming, it's gonna be Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
And Anthony Hopkins and the father, is absolutely fantastic too.
It was good.
That was fantastic too. And Anthony Hopkins shows how good he is in that film.
Yeah, it was such an underrated film as well.
Yeah. It started with no support. All of a sudden, it got a bunch of nominations, and the support started going high for it. So that's why I'm like, there's a category coming up that I think I had for something else, but I'm switching it to the father for another category we're going to be talking about soon.
Okay, all right. All right.
So that's Chadwick Boseman for Best Actor.
Nice. All right, your turn.
All right. Let's do a craft category, visual effects.
All right. Okay, so we spoke about this off air, right?
Yes.
So visual effects.
Visual effects. Everyone assumes that the visual effects goes to the film with the most effects. It usually doesn't. Usually, the one that wins best visual effects are for a supporting effect, and how it's determined is that you're not given the whole film. You're basically given a sequence to judge the effects.
Yeah.
As an example, last year's winner was 1917.
Yeah.
The war movie, and I got that wrong. My friend David got it right because he remembers the past years where supporting effects would win over the big budget blockbusters. So thinking about that, the best effects I find that were in a supporting role are the effects from Tenet.
Yeah,
it's also the biggest film of the bunch.
That's
and like I said, I didn't like Tenet, but the craft of it is unsurpassed.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I think. And Chris, and look at Interstellar. Remember Christopher Nolan's Interstellar? That won best visual effects back in 2014, 15, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I think Christopher Nolan has a knack of using practical mixed with the CGI that actually make it work. So I'm going with Tenet for that one.
Yeah.
Possible upset is George Clooney's The Midnight Sky, but we've seen The Midnight Sky before. It's a space movie, so I'm like, how many we've seen? It's not. It's very well done, but we've been there, done that. Tenet is an original use of effects, so I think that's why Tenet will take it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go right there with you. Tenet looks like it's gonna hopefully. It's gonna take home for best visual effects, and then The Midnight Sky. I wasn't really fond of it.
I wasn't fond of it either.
But and I'm like, all right, this is a fun George Clooney being George Clooney. But
impressive. He directed it very well. It was well directed. I just didn't care for the story, and I kind of figured out that I'm not gonna spoil it. The film itself. I figured out the little surprise that he was trying to set up there.
I'm like, I was like, wow, this is as impressive as.
All right, it's your turn.
All right, my turn. Okay, so now let's. This is okay. All right. So now, actually, even better. All right, let's go best original song.
Best original song.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going with Speak Now from One Night in Miami because that was another film that it was poised to be Best Picture, Best Director. a slew of acting awards, and it only got 3. And I'm very upset about that because I thought Regina King would have gotten the director's slot for that. It proved to be a very popular film. It's on Amazon if everyone wants to watch it. It's fantastic. I'm going with that one with a possible spoiler of Diane Warren's EOC, the Italian song from
Laura
sorry,
Pausini.
what?
The Italian song from Laura Pausini.
No, the Italian song from The Life Ahead, the Sophia Loren film that's on Netflix. You should actually watch that. That's a very good one. Diane Warren has been nominated, I think, like 11 times. She's never won. So I think that could be a factor in this too, that, you know, they might give it to her as a career thing, but I'm going with One Night in Miami because of the popularity of the film.
Okay. All right. Honestly, I don't. I mean, I told you what my favorite score, well, original score is.
Yeah, but it's not there.
It's not there, so I'm like, you know what? Just
you couldn't hear it over the sound mix.
Oh yeah, no. It was. I'm like, I had to see that movie twice in cinemas, and I'm like, man, am I going deaf? Please, I'm not going deaf. Yeah. Man. All right, your turn, Dave. Joey.
Oh well, you said song, so I'll mention original score. Original score is one of the only categories that I'm 100% certain that it's going to be Soul. Pixar's Soul is going to take it.
Yes.
And out of all the nominees, Soul, News of the World, Minari, Mank, and The Five Bloods, I would think it's the best out of the 5. It's an original score. I think a close second in terms of my favorite. And it's actually usually not supposed to vote with what your favorite is, because you usually get disappointed. But that's my favorite score, followed by The Five Bloods, which I think is Terrence's score he's ever done. But I think he's like 5th in line to get it. If there's going to be an upset for best score, it's going to be Mank. But the problem with the issue with that is it's the same composer. Yeah. It's Atticus Ross. It's Trent Reznor from the Nine Inch Nails. He did both scores for Mank and Soul.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll give it to Soul for being a really, really rich, emotional, and jazzy score. I'll give it to Soul.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I know. For me, I'll go with Soul. The Five Bloods. I saw it the first. Okay, so this is gonna be weird. Like I saw it the first time, and I thought it was tremendous. I saw it the second time, and I'm like, I don't know. There's something off about it.
I liked it a lot. I am devastated because Delroy Lindo should have been one of the 5 best actor nominees. He gave a career best performance. This guy's been doing work since forever, and he's been always great. And they had finally a chance to give him something, or even a nomination for something. And since the film came out last June, I think it peaked too early. If the film came out in December, November, January, you've been talking about a potential winner there.
True.
But no, it's a shame that he was nominated. It's actually a travesty he's not nominated. That guy deserved it. Deserved the win, if you ask me.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True. Okay.
All right. Your turn.
Right. My turn, eh? Let's see. Let's go with all right, let's go with best supporting actor.
Best supporting actor.
Mm-hmm.
Best supporting actor. What we got here? Best supporting actor. Okay. Best supporting actor is another one that is 100% predicted here. It's going to be Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah.
Yes. Yeah. That was such a good movie.
Yeah, excellent movie, but it's category fraud because in the same category you have his co-star Lakeith Stanfield, who plays the lead of the film for some reason, but they put him in supporting. So apparently there's no lead in this film. They have 2 supporting actors, but no lead. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Lakeith is obviously the lead. The story revolves around his story about him infiltrating the Black Panthers. Usually in any year, 2 people in the same category would split the vote. Not this year. Daniel Kaluuya is going to take it.
I hope so because he's
fantastic. He should have been nominated. He was great in Get Out. He should have been nominated for Widows.
Yes.
He played the sadistic guy in Widows. He was excellent in that.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I'll give it to him. Again, years of good work. He made a very good movie last year no one saw called Queen and Slim.
Queen and Slim is good.
Yeah, and this is even better. This is going to be his. He's going to walk away with that trophy.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, because if you look at the list, right, for best supporting actor as well, you also have Sacha Baron Cohen, which I'm like, all right,
He
I don't
was
know.
good. I mean, he was good. I'm not saying he stole. Apparently, he stole the show. He's the flashiest role of that film.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you ever see footage of the real Abby Hoffman, he does a very good job becoming Abby Hoffman.
Okay.
And Abby Hoffman was a flashy speaker. He had a style about him, and Sacha Cohen gets that style down pat. But like I said, any other year, probably him, he would have taken it. Not this year.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. All right. All right. All right. I see. So whose turn is? So it's your turn now.
My turn.
Yeah.
Let's go with costume design.
Oh. Oh, I have one already. I have one. I'm gonna give it to Mank.
Oh, good. That's my second. That's a spoiler. I'm giving it to Ma Rainey's. The
Okay.
reason why Ma Rainey's is, how can I put it? I think well liked compared to Mank. Mank is respected. Ma Rainey's is actually well liked to loved.
Oh yeah. No,
But don't get me wrong, Mank is the costume. The craft of Mank is
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, no. Honestly, when I
Yeah.
saw Mank, it reminded me because when I was in Concordia, I was taking a film class, and I was seeing like the history of film, and
Yeah.
then they're talking about Mank, and I'm like this, like when I see Gary Oldman portraying what I saw, I'm like, I remember this. This is
and,
good.
and that's my heartbreak with Mank, because it's a period of Hollywood which I actually love. I love the 30s and 40s of Hollywood. I love the style of it. I love the movies of it. So when they told me when I heard they were making a film, David Fincher was making a film about the making of Citizen Kane, I was psyched. Then when I watched the movie and I found out it's not even about the making of Citizen Kane, it's about the writing of the screenplay of Citizen Kane, I was like, okay, I'll get into it. Then the movie starts and it talks about the politics of Los Angeles in 1930s of that era, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting a bit. I'll be honest, it was boring. I thought it was boring, and I'm like, and this is a David Fincher film for me. It should never be boring.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
this film I found boring. A couple things stood out was the Arliss Howard playing Louis B. Mayer. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he was fantastic. The supporting actors, Charles Dance as William Hurst, Amanda Seyfried as Marion Davis. I thought they stood out. Everything was good. Gary Oldman is great, but I'm sorry. If you ever see footage of Mr. Joe Mankiewicz, Herman Mankiewicz, he was 45 when he wrote, or in his 40s when he wrote Citizen Kane. Gary Oldman 64, and I'm like, it doesn't even really look the part. Don't get me wrong, Oldman was good, but I think that was a bit of a miscast.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And then oh man, I can't. Best costume design, you have Mulan. I'm like,
but that usually they go for the biggest costumes.
Yeah.
I'm like, if they went for the biggest costumes, the flashiest costumes, it wouldn't be Mulan, it would be Emma.
Yeah,
Emma had the best costumes. And I'm like, I don't think Emma's gonna take it because not a lot of people watched Emma. A lot of people, I think, watch Ma Rainey's Black Bottom over Emma. So that's why I'm going with that one. Also because it shows support for a film that is well liked.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I see. I see. Where you're going. All right. Your turn. Let's.
No, your turn.
Oh, yeah.
I said costume.
Okay, you said costume. All right. So it's gonna be my turn. Let's go with. Let's just go with best production design. No, we covered that.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
Oh, we didn't. Okay, sorry, my thing's old. So best production design. Let's go.
Okay, so this is one that I think I'm very confident that Mank is gonna. This is the only one that I think Mank is gonna take.
Okay.
Right, because Hollywood loves films about themselves, and it's excellent work. I'm like, it's William Hearst Castle, the back lot of MGM. I'm like, everything. It's impeccably made. I think it's gonna go. I think that's what's gonna win. Possibly, what might take it. Actually, again, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom could be a spoiler upset on that. The only factor against that is that it takes place in basically 2 sets. So I'm like, I think Also, a potential spoiler could be Tenet, because the production design of Tenet is fantastic.
Yeah.
So it could be. I think one of those three, but I think Mank will walk away with it.
Yeah. What do you think about News of the World? Do you think that's going to get anything, or I mean,
None.
for
I don't think it's gonna get nothing. I think it's a film that News of the World. I liked it. I didn't love it. I thought Hanks was great in it. I thought the little girl was great in it too. I thought the movie looked great, sounded great. I just think the story was it didn't grasp me. But News of the World was a film that went to cinemas when it came out. It didn't come to streaming until a bit later. So I don't think a lot of people went to see it. And I think if it was a streaming release, I think people would have given it more love.
Okay.
It got 4 nominations, but I think it would got a lot more if it went if it was a streaming release.
Okay. No,
but it's a film that actually it's one of a few films that I said to myself when I watched it at home, I'm like, this I should have seen at the cinema.
Yeah.
Because it is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, because I saw it on video on demand. I'm like,
yeah,
I should be in cinemas watching.
Yeah.
No, but it did bring me back to the awesome
yes
Western pieces of Hollywood.
Yes. It was well done. Hanks was great. Everyone was great. The story was it just didn't do it for me. But I still recommended it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, your turn.
Let us do sound.
Ooh, that's gonna be
you picked
for sound, huh? Oh man, honestly, oh man, I'm trying to think here. Just give me a sec. Okay, so for sound, oh man, I can't go with this.
It's in the title.
What do you mean?
Well, my pick for sound is between two, but I think I'm 95% certain the Sound of Metal is going to take it.
For some reason, I wasn't a fan of Sound of Metal.
Oh, I really like the Sound of Metal. I'm like, it's a film that I think has a lot of support because it got in many categories.
Okay.
But I think its only win is going to be this, because the sound work. Remember last year, up until last year, sound was two categories: mixing and editing.
Yeah.
Now they combine the sound into one category. So if there was a mix and an edit, then I would probably say Greyhound will get the mix and Sound of Metal will get the edit. But now since they combine the two, I'm thinking Sound of Metal because the soundtrack, the mix of it, it's innovative. Okay. The way they dealt with it. And I think that's why it's going to take. It's the most innovative use of sound, with Soul being another one. But I think Sound of Metal, they're going to give it to that because they really like the film.
Okay, man, and I'm gonna come back to this. I really wish News of the World would have won because the sound is. I mean, if you don't have these awesome mega headphones or if you don't have surround sound,
yeah,
but
of course.
If you have that, I'm like, oh man, such a shame.
Yeah.
So okay, all right. So I'm liking your picks right here, Joy. It's I like them. I like them really much.
So your turn.
My turn. Okay, so my turn. Let's do. I'm gonna leave that for last. All right, so let's do international film, feature film.
International feature film. All right. I have seen everyone except for, where are you? What was it? Better Days. I've seen Another Round, Collective, The Man Who Sold His Skin, and Quevados Aida. Quevados Aida is a film from Serbia. It is brutal. To me, it's the best film of the bunch, and that's not saying anything because Another Round is going to take it. Because Another Round, an excellent movie, has a Best Director nominee in Thomas Vinterberg. And there's support for that film. People like the film, so they gave it a Best Director nomination. Because of that Best Director nomination, I think Another Round is going to win the Best International Film. and it has a good. There's a narrative with the film is that his daughter, 4 days into filming of this film, another round, his daughter died in a car accident.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm not saying that's the reason it's going to win. It's a very good movie, but the narrative behind his story is reaching a lot of people, and it touches a lot of people that he actually completed the film in the wake of this tragedy. So I think that's coupled with the fact that the film is a very good movie is going to win.
Okay, okay. I see where you're. I see where you're going with this. That's a good list. All right, next one.
Oh, I'll pick.
Yeah.
Let's go with documentary feature.
I didn't watch too many of the documentary feature, but please give your input on what do you think is gonna.
I've seen them all, and I think my least favorite of them is the one that's gonna win it. It's My Octopus Teacher.
Yeah, I heard about that one. Why?
People, it's a good movie. It's okay. It's nothing's. I don't think nothing. It's good. Like undersea cinematography is gorgeous. I think the most innovative film of the bunch is Time, and that's on Amazon too. If everyone wants to watch that, Time is great. But My Octopus Teacher is like this, the emotional favorite, the warm, huggy kind of film. So I think they're gonna go for that one.
Yeah,
I'm thinking that, and also the fact that it won at BAFTA, it won a bunch of precursors. So I'm thinking it's gonna win. If it was, if let's say something like Crypt Camp or Time came out closer to now in the last month or two, I think you've been taught the narrative would change. But I'm thinking My Octopus Teacher is gonna take it.
Okay. Interesting.
Again, total. Anything can happen. There was a couple years ago. There's the best documentary of that year. I thought was Cartel Land.
Yeah, I heard of it.
It was mind-blowingly good, and it lost. So I'm like, and that was the one that was poised to take it. So anything can happen. So
yeah, for sure. Okay, okay, all right. So it's my turn. Yeah, best adapted screenplay.
Adapted screenplay. Up until last week, I had Nomadland, and I changed it when BAFTA gave it to The Father. I'm going for The Father because The Father, another film, the one with Anthony Hopkins, that's well liked and has a lot of support. Has a Best Picture nomination. Has production design. Has actor. I'm thinking they're going to give it something, and this is the best thing the best option for it. It's also Florian Zeller adapted his play for the screen, so I believe that's your winner, with Nomadland being a second, being the runner up. If there's a spoiler.
Okay. Yeah, no. I figured it was going to be
the reason why Borat subsequent movie film is there is beyond me.
Yeah, I don't know.
A film that is supposedly improvised should not. That doesn't make sense to me.
It really doesn't. No,
when he was nominated in the same category in 2006 for the first Borat, and it didn't make sense to me then. So I'm like,
I saw it. I'm like, no, you know what? Nothing's obviously going to beat the first one.
No, I didn't. I didn't care for the film at all, except for we'll get into that later.
All right. Okay. We're running. Which ones did we not cover?
It's my turn. Let's go. Since you did adapted, I'll go for original screenplay.
Okay.
Yeah. Out of all the nominees, and they're all worthy. Especially Judas and the Black Messiah, Minari, which is fantastic, Promising a Woman, and Sound of Metal, and The Trial of Chicago 7. Like I said, up until about 2 months ago, this was Trial of Chicago 7's to lose. Then Promising Young Woman makes a splash. And since I don't think the writer, who's also the director, is going to win in the directing category, I think this is the film that's going to get it. It's an original film. It's well written. It's well mounted. I think she's going to get it.
Okay. Okay. No, because I'm a fan of Aaron Sorkin. So so I'm like, because I loved them when you were in The West Wing, Molly's Game, and this one like
And I'll say I'm not a fan of this film. I'm like, it's a good movie, but it just it's the standard Aaron Sorkin movie.
yes, yes,
There's nothing surprising about this film. You know what Aaron Sorkin's best written screenplay is, and I don't care. I'm not saying The Social Network. His best produced screenplay is his best screenplay he wrote to me was Moneyball.
yes.
Moneyball was such a great screenplay.
Yeah, it really was.
Steve Jobs was a fantastic screenplay.
Yeah, that was. But see, that was an underrated movie. I want Steve.
That one should have cleaned up here. It did not get it was a box office failure and an awards failure, and that should have swept. I saw that film, and I was with David saw it too, and we're like, "This is one of the best films of the year," and I got nothing.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, but again, I'm giving it The Promising Young Woman, and I'm confident it's gonna take it. But the spoiler will be Trial of Chicago 7.
Okay. I see where you're going with this. Should we go for the main one now, or
No, we still have a couple more. Leave the main one to the end.
Oh, okay. So you know what? Let's you know what? You take take up the red carpet, and let's. I just want to hear you, your thoughts on all these. So let's go.
You want cinematography?
Sure.
Cinematography is going to go to, I believe, Nomadland, and it's between Nomadland and Mank. I think those are the two that are going to be going at it. Mank winning at the Cinematographers Guild, but Nomadland winning everywhere else. I think Nomadland is one of those films. It's a very, very small, intimate film. But again, like we said before, it's one of those films that I wish I saw in the cinema because the cinematography is so breathtakingly beautiful that it doesn't do justice on the screen at home.
Okay.
It is exquisite cinematography, and I think that's going to take it.
Okay.
Well, next we got makeup and hairstyling, which the best out of the bunch won't win, but I'm giving it again to Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Yeah.
Because again, with the overall support of the movie, I think that's what's going to take it.
Yeah.
With a possible exception of maybe Mank or very impressively Pinocchio, the Italian version.
Yeah.
Which if anyone hasn't seen it, it is a fantastic movie.
It's still on my list to watch, but yeah, no.
It's not. And Roberto Benigni, the funny part is he plays Geppetto in this film.
Yeah.
Whereas he directed a version, a horrid version back in, I don't know, 98.
2002.
2002 it was. Well, horrendous version, unless you saw the Italian version.
Yeah,
exactly. The Italian version in its language is actually decent. It's not good, but it's decent.
Yeah,
the dubbed American version was an abomination.
Oh man, no! Like I went to go see
it was horrible.
Yeah, I saw Raguzo, and I'm like, what am I watching?
but this film is absolutely it's fantastic.
Okay,
it's really, really good.
Okay,
so that's something you should really check out. Next, we have film editing.
Yeah,
editing, which is again up until 2 weeks ago, again, The Sound of Metal. But I'm switching my prediction to The Trial of Chicago 7, which I believe because, again, a film that many people in that academy likes, that this is the only award it's going to get.
Okay.
Because you're juggling multiple storylines. And I'm like, I think, and it's a heavily dialogue, it's a heavily scripted film. So I'm thinking it will take it for editing.
Okay, I'm gonna. Oh, sorry to cut you off. What were you saying?
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was. You know what? Because the father had really good editing techniques.
The father. Listen, anything can happen. The father is a well-liked film. I'm like, and the fact that the father, again, without giving spoilers away, is there's a sleight of hand with the father that is impressive. So I'm like, it could be a possibility. The fact that it got an editing nomination just proves the fact that they're considering it, that the editing is a powerful part of that film.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think the father could have a chance. Hey, listen, anything can happen.
Oh, for sure.
But editing is not one of my 100% predicting ones. Anything can happen with that category.
I mean, you know, it's like saying, listen, Borat 2 could probably win something. We never know.
Oh, sweet God, no, hope not. No, please, no, don't do that. There's only one category which I would actually give it, and it's gonna. We'll say that for our next category for supporting actress.
Sure.
When I saw Maria Bakalova, what's her name? What's her name? Maria Bakalova. When I saw her in that film, I'm like, I turned to my wife, and I'm like, I would literally nominate her for Best Supporting Actress because she was fantastic. To me, she made the movie. I think she was excellent. I thought she was so good that I'm like, she had comedic timing. She had a presence. And she was fearless. The Southern dance at the Southern Ball that she just went on go for broke when she was doing that dance. I'm like, I actually laughed. Her when she goes to the Republican women's dinner, I thought she was great in that scene too. I thought she was consistently great throughout the film. I'm like, I would see her get nominated. I don't think she would win, but you never know because it is between her and Yoon Jung Young, or they call her YJ, for Minari. Again, up until Minari started becoming such a popular film, I think Maria Bakalova was the front runner.
Yeah.
Okay. Or a third possibility is Glenn Close, who they want to give, who should have won last year, but maybe give her a career achievement Oscar for Hillbilly Elegy, a film that was torn apart by critics, and I think for silly political reasons. I don't think the film was great, but I don't think the film was all that bad. I thought she gave a very good performance, Amy Adams. So I'm like, I could see her getting a career Oscar for it. But I'm thinking it's gonna be Minari, the grandmother Minari, because that to me, another film with a lot of support that I don't think will win any of the category, but that category for supporting actress. So I'm betting on Minari.
Okay.
Come on, pick another one.
All right. So we did that one. Documentaries. I didn't see it. I didn't see much else after this, to be honest with you.
How about animated film?
Well, I mean, yeah.
We all know it's gonna take that one. That's.
I hope. Okay, so I hope Soul's gonna take it.
I think so. I think it's very confident that Soul is going to take it.
It has to.
With a number 2 being the excellent Wolfwalkers. It's on Apple TV. Very, very good movie. Everything else, Over the Moon, actually. Over the Moon by Glenn Keane is another great animated film. Wrong year.
What makes you say that?
It's the wrong year. With Soul being so popular and Soul being in multiple categories, there's support for Soul. So I'm like, Soul's gonna get it.
Okay.
Soul's gonna get it.
Yeah. It was a. I'll be honest with you. It was a touching movie.
It was aside from the cat angle, which I've seen in other films. I didn't really need that. The fact that it wasn't a cut and paste kiddie film.
Yeah.
It really surprised me that the resolution of the film the theme of the film, it wasn't where I expected it to go at all. And I'm like, wow, this is really going somewhere I didn't think for a family kids film. Mm-hmm. I think me and my wife were more impressed with it than our young son, because I think he expected something like Up or other Pixar films like Toy Story, and I'm like, it's not at all. It's a very, very adult film, and it's by Pete Docter, who made my other two. Well, one of the other best Pixar films, Inside Out. I could see it in the same. It's in the same vein as Inside Out. It shares the same DNA, and I'm like, man, this guy's making truly original films with heady themes, And I'm like, I wish more animated films would do stuff like that, but yet we get Trolls too. So what can I say? What can I say?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Okay, what we got next? We got actress in a leading role,
Yeah.
which is the hardest category out of the bunch.
Why?
This category can go can go four ways. Can go literally four ways, except for Vanessa Kirby for Pieces of a Woman, because I think she lost support when the film didn't get any other nominations, even though she is absolutely fantastic in the film. That first 20-minute scene, if you haven't seen the film, is hard to watch. But if there was more support for the movie, it also ran into a Shia LaBeouf scandal, so that hurt it. Again, more support, I think we'll be talking about her, which I don't think she has a chance. But a four-way race between Viola Davis, Andra Day, Frances McDormand, and Carey Mulligan. Any one of these four can win, because in the past 3 months, every one of these actresses have been winning or won awards, one or more. So it can go. Andra Day won the Golden Globe for Billie Holiday, a movie that shot in Montreal. Some people that we know are in it.
Yeah.
But a movie that is not well liked, but the performance is well respected. I don't find the movie that great, but she is excellent.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that's a possibility. Then you have Viola Davis, who is in the movie Ma Rainey's Black Bottom for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's her. She's in the title of the film, but it's really not her movie. It's more Chadwick Boseman's movie.
Yeah.
I can't even say that it is her movie, but again, 20 minutes of screen time. But she has a possibility. She won SAG, so I'm like, the support for her. It's funny that she won Best Supporting Actress for Fences, which was a leading role. And she's in leading contention for this one, and it's technically a supporting role. Go figure.
Yeah.
But I would say she's third in line to get it.
Okay.
So I think it's between Frances McDormand and Carey Mulligan. Now, Frances McDormand won a couple years ago for 3 Billboards, which I thought she deserved. She deserved it for this too.
Yeah.
But since she won so close to the other one, I'm thinking Carey Mulligan, who has never won before and has been nominated only like 10 years ago for An Education, is going to take it. But I think McDormand, after the BAFTA win she had last week, is in the conversation again, and she could possibly upset. But right now, I'm going with Carey Mulligan because original movie, great performance. She's done a decade of like good, solid work without recognition. I think this is her time.
Okay.
Again, it can go one of 4 ways.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one out. That's the heart. Literally, that's the one that I've been losing many minutes of sleep about. Yeah, I'm not gonna say I'm losing sleep about it, but it's the one I've been thinking about the most because it can go any which way.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. No. Going back to what you're saying about Viola Davis. Yeah, you're right. She was in the film for 20 minutes, even though it was the late Chadwick Boseman's film. So I mean,
well, without her, there is no movie. That's the thing. It's Ma Rainey's Black Bottom for a reason. So I'm like, she sets the stage, I guess, and that's why they make her a lead.
Yeah.
Technically, I think originally Chadwick Boseman was supposed to be supporting, and they bumped them up to lead category. The way it works is basically you just you fill out a form, and then the studio cast or the filmmakers cast where they want their people to compete. Mm-hmm. Because at the time, Chadwick Boseman was competing with himself in The Five Bloods in supporting.
Yeah. So
you can't. You're gonna lose votes that way. So basically, you put one in supporting and one in lead, and he got more votes for the lead.
Okay.
It could happen. Look at it happened with Julie. I think it happened with Julianne Moore years ago when she was nominated in lead and supporting. I think it was for The Hours and for End of the Affair. I think it was at the same time too.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong with that. I think I got my years mixed up, but I think at a point she was in 2 categories.
Okay.
Look at Jamie Foxx. She supporting Collateral, lead in Ray.
Yeah.
It didn't lose him the votes for Ray, but it doesn't really help, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So we
Okay.
got one more, and that will be. We're not doing the shorts because I haven't seen all the shorts.
Yeah, no, I haven't.
I can't judge the shorts.
Yeah, I
So I
haven't.
think
I haven't seen
yeah.
the shorts.
So best picture. Now the
Mm-hmm.
best picture. Again, I'm confident Nomadland's gonna take it, but it's one of those films in which, with the Academy being of a certain age and medium age of 50 to 60,
Mm-hmm.
I think they like those old-fashioned. Well, look, when Green Book won over Roma,
Yeah.
you had a standard Academy Award bait kind of film versus something innovative and artistic and more mellow I'm sorry, Roma wasn't mellow. It was just a bit more audacious. You had to have patience with Roma. Whereas Green Book was a enjoyable film. I don't think it should have won. I think I was a big Roma fan. I thought Roma was a masterpiece. And with this, I'm seeing the same kind of thing. You have the artistic achievement, which is Nomadland, versus the Trial of Chicago 7, which is a big crowd-pleasing film.
Yeah.
Now, could another film take it? It's Promising Woman. Even Minari has a lot of support because people really like Minari. Minari is an excellent film. But I think it's between the old school and the new school. So I'm like, I'm confident that Nomadland will take it because in the last year, the Academy let in a lot of new blood, and I think and the popularity of Chloe Zhao is unsurpassed. I think Chloe Zhao. Oh, we actually talked about Chloe Zhao. We'll go to her next. Chloe Zhao, as star, has been on the rise ever since she did a film a couple years ago called The Writer.
Yeah.
A film that not a lot of people saw. It was all done with non-actors. I think everyone was a non-actor in that film, and it was actually I think it's a better film than Nomadland. But she got popular with that. Then she got a gig directing The Eternals from Marvel. That didn't come out yet. It's coming out this year. I think if the Eternals came out prior in its original date, they would have really boosted her popularity even higher. But
for sure,
she's becoming very popular. She has a great eye. The fact that she pulled Nomadland together with, again, non-actors, except for I think two, Francis McDormand and David Strathairn. Everyone else is a non-actor, and they're giving great performances. And the screenplay is emotional and resonant, and it's shot with a poet. It's shot with an art with such an eye. It's just a well-directed film, which is why she's gonna win director and it's gonna win Best Picture. Her directing nomination, her win is secure. That's 100%. Picture can go between Chicago 7 or Nomadland. I'm giving the edge to Nomadland because it's fresh, it's original, but yet you never know.
Yeah, for sure, man. You never know.
You never know down.
Yeah, I never know. But so, hearing what your thought on this and reading the list, I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're like, I'm gonna say 97% right. So
no, listen, I can have my ass handed to me tomorrow night. I could be wrong a lot. I mean, you never know. This is a year that's different. It's not a year that. First of all, there's not a. Usually, everyone rallies around one or two films. Here, you have 4 films that are very popular. Yeah, sorry, even 5 films. You count The Father. No, 5 films with The Father too. The Father became very popular in the last month. But and you know what? It's good. I'm happy. I'm like, sometimes if it's too easy, it's kind of boring.
Yeah,
I like losing sometimes. Actually, no, I don't. No. Some people, if a certain person's watching, he knows I don't like losing, especially on this. But again, to me, they're meaningless awards now. I mean, how could you say what's the best and what's not the best?
True.
You know, I think Roma was a masterpiece. They gave it to Green Book. Why they gave it to Green Book? Because they didn't want a Netflix film winning Best Picture. That's my belief.
Yeah,
that's my belief. That's why I believe happened. You know.
Okay. I see where you're coming from. It's it's tough. It's tough and it's fun.
It's fun. I just do it for fun. I mean, I do it for fun. Listen, I've been doing it long before I've been having Oscar parties and stuff like that. I always watch the Oscars. I always would do my lists and stuff like that. And,
Yeah.
Again, yeah, just for shits and giggles. You know, why not?
Exactly. You know, and it's especially, you know, through this day and age, you know, we need something to entertain ourselves, right? Because we need those shits and giggles.
But what's good is that when something like Minari or Promising a Woman gets recognition, those are the films that usually, I would say, up until like 5-10 years ago, they would float under the radar and they would never be nominated.
Yeah.
Minari, Promising a Woman, you would never see them there.
No.
Now the fact that with streaming and everyone, I'm not gonna shit on Netflix and stuff like that, but to give carte blanche to people like David Fincher and to Alfonso Cuarón for Roma, to give him hey, here's a blank check, here's $40 million, do what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, what studio will do that? No one will do that.
True, unless you're
Zack Snyder. But look at Trial of Chicago 7. That was a Paramount film. They said they didn't think it was gonna do that well, so they sold it off to streaming, to Netflix.
Yeah. So
I'm like, who does that? You know, Weinstein was gonna make money because it's a drama. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
They only want tentpoles now. Studios only want to do tentpole business. They'll sell off. They'll sell off their little films to streaming services. Look, you know what? Coming to America 2, which was horrible.
Yeah.
I thought it was a bad movie. Completely. Agreed. Oh, it was. I sat there dumbfounded. But Amazon paid $125 million for that film, which only cost like $60 million. They pocketed another $65 million. They pocketed $65 million in profit.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't Paramount sell it? Of course they would sell it. Why not? I would say, of course you'd sell it and make a profit without having to put a stitch of advertising into it. Let Amazon take care of that.
Exactly.
And for Amazon, it worked because people signed up, people watched. It was one of their biggest hits, and I think it's still one of their biggest hits. And I sat there dumbfounded. I'm like, wow, they really botched that one because I didn't like that movie at all. I think the first was a comedy classic.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, they took what they took to me the raunchy, vulgar soul out of the first one and made a family-friendly movie.
Yeah. You know what? I was just gonna say that the first one was like, you know,
vulgar. Hey, listen, it was the 80s.
Yeah.
It was vulgar.
Yeah, and then the second one, like they I guess they had like rules to respect, and plus in the generation they were living in, you know, they had to make it family friendly.
They were about 15 years too late in doing a sequel to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, to me, but I think coming off the pop, I think they got a better. I think everything came together because of the popularity of his last film, Dolomite Is My Name, which I thought was a very, very good movie. I'm like, that was a raunchy, well done, and actually kind of heartfelt film that Eddie Murphy did. And I'm like, oh my, that's what he should be doing, not going back to revisit the characters. And softening the films, the film for modern audiences. I can't stand that. I'm like, don't do it if you're gonna do it. The same thing, and I think that's the reason why Borat didn't work. For me, a lot of people like Borat Part 2, but I didn't because don't touch good things if they're perfect. Don't touch things if they're perfect. You don't need a sequel. You don't need a sequel. Almost 15 years later.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, they're going to keep doing that. They're going to keep doing that.
Why not? They're not expensive to make and people watch.
Exactly. And then we're going to go watch them and then we're going to walk out of the cinema or press pause on our televisions or laptops and be like, wow, I can't believe I spent $30 watching this. You know, meanwhile,
and that's my big pet peeve with watching movies at home. I can't, and again, I'm saying it myself. I can't watch a movie at home and immerse myself completely when the phone rings or my cell or the dog barks or my kids are running around or someone's asking a question and one gets up to go to the bathroom. I'm like, when you're watching something like Mank at home, forget it.
Yeah.
With such a dense film like that, I had to watch it late at night when everyone went to bed, because I won't be able to pay attention to what's going on. Even me, sometimes I'll get fidgety. I'll leave the room to get something in the kitchen. I'll lose the focus I need to understand a film like that, or to process a film like that. That's why I like being in a cinema, even if it's for a film like Minari, or like I said, Nomadland. Nomadland is a film you could watch at home. It'll still work well, but you will lose that cinematography, that scope, by watching it at home. But most people don't care now.
Yeah, exactly.
Most people don't care. Most people just want to binge a series and that's it.
Yeah.
I find it's like the cereal aisle at a grocery store. You have your grade A cereals, and you have your shit at the bottom. The generic brand Chex, or the generic brand Fruit Loops, which is 95% of the crap that is on streaming.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
very well said. Well, Joy, as I mentioned, I liked your predictions. Is there anything else you want to add before we cut this?
No, I'm good. I had a good time. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, no, thank you for doing this, ladies and gentlemen. So this is, Joe Rossi. He's part of Lonely Path Films. I have put the link to Lonely Path Film here at the bottom. Click the link on Facebook and YouTube. YouTube, subscribe to them, because these people are amazing people. He's in a team. The film Night Shift won a few awards, and Joyce is a great guy, and the rest of the crew is a great guy. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do my plugins for 1 second. Tomorrow night, we have Luke Lindale. He's a comedian who was from Montreal, and now he resides in Toronto. We're going to be talking about the Toronto comedy scene during the pandemic. And then Monday night, we're going to be talking about Dirty Four en français. And then Wednesday is going to be Quick and Dirty with Captain YOLO and Joy LaFlamme. So once again, Joy, thank you very much for doing this. And let's have a good time watching the Oscars tomorrow night.
Thank you very much, Claude. I appreciate it.
No problem. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.